Good morning, everyone, or good evening, or good afternoon, wherever you might be. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of Perfect Album Sides. Alongside in the co-captain's chair, once again, Mr. Steve Fleck. What's up, dude? How are you?
Hey, Pete and everybody out there. Great to be back on the show. It's been a while, and I'm glad to be back on.
A long while since yesterday morning, as a matter of fact.
Well, that said.
Exactly. So we got Yep. As we're doing each and every day this month, we are picking perfect album sides to classic albums. The caveat is, has to be something that was released back in the day where we had media that had a side A and a side B and maybe a side C and a side D. So, something that was only released on CD back in the 90s or the early 2000s probably doesn't qualify here, but something that was originally released on vinyl, LP, or cassette that had a side A, side B, that's the way they set it up. That's what we're going for. It's got to be more than one track. All right, no big sidelong epics here. As long as it's got two or more songs, it qualifies. And basically, we feel that every song that's on that album side is absolute perfection. 5 out of 5 star every song. So with all that being said, Steve's going to kick us off with his selection for today.
Thank you, Pete. And, this is about as basic as it gets. And there's really no defense. There's no elaboration really necessary on this sucker. I've been into this album since it came out. It's been part of me since then. Believe it or not, the funny thing is, you listen to it today, it is what it is. It's a classic. I'm not telling anybody anything yet, but you're starting to get the idea. This is an album that, when it came out, really kind of like shocked people with how heavy it was. And let's face it, nowadays you listen to it, it ain't that heavy, but it's still great. And that doesn't take away from it. And that would be side one of Back in Black by AC/DC. Kind of tough. I love AC/DC, kind of tough to pick, but I would go, made it easier for me is this was my first AC/DC album. Got it when it came out, was a kind of a late adapter, and then went back immediately and got Highway to Hell because I was like, I need more of this stuff. But that's another story for another time. But Back in Black, I mean, I think, obviously one of the biggest and most successful singer transplants ever of all time. And you can probably name a handful of those, Pete. And there are some good ones. But this was the most successful. This was kind of make or break for the band. They lost their singer. And so they just came back, roaring with Mutt Lange in the producer's seat. And, we're talking about Hell's Bells. We're talking about Shoot the Thrill. More up-tempo stuff. What do you do for money, honey? More up-tempo. Give him the dog a bone and let me put my love into you. Arguably you could say, and I always said at the time, Back in Black didn't have a bad song on it. I like the way they sequenced it, end of one song, right into the next song. If I had to choose a side, it was really difficult, but side one, hey, those bells come clanging in, that chord comes in, Malcolm's, jangling that stuff in front of you, and you're just like, yeah, where do I get more? And one thing, and then I'll be done with this, that I noticed listening to Hell's Bells recently on vinyl, is that, Phil Rudd is really not slamming the drums on that track. He usually does on every other track, but I'm listening to Hell's Bells. You guys out there listen to it with this in mind and try and just listen to his ride and his snare, and he is just kind of lightly tapping on it. Very interesting. Obviously once they get cranking, he kicks it up at the and when he gets going into the verse, he's just kind of just tapping on there with a little wrist action. But Hell's Bells, AC/DC, and the rest that follows on side one, perfection.
Yeah, I mean that's like one of those many albums that will probably get covered this month where you could argue the whole album is absolutely perfect, right? And that album changed a lot for a lot of us, right? When it first came out, it's just like, holy cow. And you're right, one of the great singer changes in all of rock history, where a beloved singer passed away and they quickly got someone else and they never missed a beat and got even bigger than they ever were, right? So You could say what you want, whether you prefer Bon over Brian, but I mean, look what they've done with Brian as the lead singer since that day, right? So yeah,
Absolutely.
good choice. That's a
Thank you.
All right, my choice. Geez, almost right about the same time. We're both our albums here, right the same, about a year apart or so. November 7th, 1981 on Jet Records. I'm talking about the second album from Ozzy Osbourne's Diary of a Madman. Yeah, this was, before we started this series this month, I was jotting down lots of albums and bands that I wanted to cover. And I didn't even think of this, but today I was kind of going through as we were getting ready to do this. And I just happened to eye the O section on my shelf down there. And I was like, oh, how about either Blizzard or Diary? And I was like, well, side A of Diary is pretty damn slamming. I mean, you've got Over the Mountain kicking it off. What a great opener. You got Flying High Again, which is just a great uplifting, high energy rock and roll song. And then the more atmospheric You Can't Kill Rock and Roll, which I think is really, really, really great and kind of underrated on this album. And then finishes it off with the grinding heavy metal track Believer. And this is Randy Rhoads' album. Let's be frank. I mean, the first album is great. But this is the album where Randy Rhoads, the myth, the legend of Randy Rhoads really, really happened. I mean, his guitar work is amazing on here. You've got that great rhythm section who got screwed over royally, but that's a story for another day. And, Ozzy sounds great on this album. And to me, this is by far the best Ozzy album. And side B is really good too. It's got the amazing title track, but I don't think side B holds a candle to side A, and for me, it's absolute perfection. So Over the Mountain, Flying High Again, You Can't Kill Rock and Roll, and Believer is my perfect album side today. Diary of a Madman, Ozzy Osbourne. So we got that, and we got Back in Black, side A from AC/DC. Those are our picks for today. So in the comment section below, everybody, let us know what you think of these two album sides that we're laying on you today. But more importantly, give us your pick for your perfect album side for the day as we move on through the month of May. Each and every day, perfect album sides, either myself solo or me and Steve or me and other guys on SOT. We're going to be bringing it at you each and every day this month. So thanks for watching. Visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. Check us out on Facebook, but more importantly, come here each and every day so we can hang out together on YouTube. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Click on that notification bell so you get notified of all of our videos as they post. We got links below to channel donations, the webzine, as well as our merch page. So thanks for watching, everybody. For Steve, I am Pete. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care. Bye-bye.